The day I met Bullhorn Betty and Jonathan Lee Ridges, they were protesting in front of the Laundries home. I began to document them, and little did I know, the three of us would spend the next few months traveling together. Nothing scares us, even if it means crossing a freezing cold river and getting wet. We put our lives in danger because we want to find answers. It gives us purpose, even if it means going undercover to get those answers, or visiting the scene of a crime and paying our respects. Searching for the truth isn't easy. It gets you out of your comfort zone and makes you see things in a different perspective. And it's this perspective that we want the world to see. At the end of the day, we fight for justice. We fight for those who don't have a voice. We fight for those who were silenced. Our next case, we search for Paola Miranda. She was last seen swimming in this river. Here's our Paola's family. Found 2 footprints they believe belonged to her. She left her phone and keys in her car. Her sister tells us that's extremely unusual for her to do that. Stay tuned as we venture deep into Wekiwa Springs State Park to help find her.
So as we're watching Dr. Phil and getting an insight on Summer Wells, we're paying close attention to every piece of words that are coming out of their mouth. We're paying attention to their body language. We're paying attention to every little detail. We're going back. We're fast forwarding forward. We're rewinding back. And so go ahead and shoot that. So Don Wells on here says the first thing he thought of when he realized his daughter was missing is that she was abducted. That was his very first thought. My question is with that, all that greenery, all that trees, all that whole vast land, your first inclination would be that she was abducted? Not that she was lost. Not that she went out and played and fell asleep somewhere, in a tree, something. Your first thought was she was abducted. And he says that multiple times, that's his first thought, is that she was abducted. My question is that would have been my first thought, first and foremost. Secondly, why would that have been his first thought? Was he threatened by somebody that he owed maybe money to, that if he didn't pony up, something would happen to his family? If he didn't owe any money, why would that be his first thought? The wife, Candus, has failed and actually got up out of the interrogation with the human lie detectors. The 2 gentlemen that were there, reading body language and everything else like that, which was a little suspicious because, you're here to try to find answers for your daughter. And especially if you think she was abducted, your first thing would be, selflessness. You're not worried about yourself. You throw everything on the table to save your child. And somebody asks a tough question and you break down and get up and don't want to talk about it and take your microphone off. This is not conduct of people that had nothing to do or don't know anything. Secondly, it was apparent that Don Wells may have been at work during the time. So why is the wife half, Candus, so upset about stuff? To me, just this little bit I've previewed thus far, I believe she knows a hell of a lot more than she's saying she knows. I think Don now knows that she may have been involved, and that's why he's having some body language, eye blinking pattern issues. But if he was not there at the time she disappeared, I think the mom knows exactly what happened to Summer Wells. I'm muted. Oh, hold on. Can you guys hear me now? Sorry, I was muted. I have two cameras on me because I've given Olivia my new computer to set up. It's got to get set up, and I don't know what I'm doing. So, anyways, as you guys know, we were together yesterday. Good morning, all. Good morning. How are you? I went to bed super early. I was so tired last night. Go get your coffee, tea, and somebody brought up or coca. So cocoa is good. I say coca. Cocoa is good. I am having my cup of joe. As always, I live off this stuff. I don't know what I would do if there was no coffee. I really don't. I have no clue what I'd do if there's no coffee. So good morning. Good morning. I haven't been outside yet, so I can't tell you what it is here in the great state of Florida or Manatee County, how the temperature is. But I can tell you, I woke up. I haven't had my air conditioning on for days. I did turn the air conditioning or the heat on just a little bit ago. Did I tell you guys that when I bought this chair, it came with bunny ears? Don't ask me why, but it came with bunny ears. Sure did. I'm not sure if I should wear these today or if I should wait until Easter. Good morning, Florida girl. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, my mods. I seen you guys were in here bright and early this morning. I appreciate it. As many of you guys know, the only requirement for the coffee club is a cup of joe tea, and we have now added cocoa to that list. So go get your beverage, and let's get started shortly. Yeah, I wear these because whenever it has a special film on them. When I got them, I've had them for years, but my eyes are pretty much almost perfect vision. But when I'm on the computer too much, it has a film. I had them put a film on. I was getting major migraines when I was working. Doing real estate. I was literally on the computer for 8 to 12 hours a day. I started getting the headaches here recently. So I thought maybe I just need to put them on because I've been working on the computer so much. And, and also now that I'm over 40, I've got some left eye vision issues. So it comes with the territory. It helps. Can we add a... No. Sorry, Punky Brewster, you can keep that with you. Coke Zero. We'll let you keep your Coke Zero, though. You're funny. Pepsi here. Hey, okay, caffeine products, right? Caffeine or sugar products. Morning. The only requirement is caffeine or sugar products. And whatever other enjoyment items that you guys enjoy in the morning. So, as many of you guys know, great news yesterday, right? I came live in the afternoon. I was actually covering another case. Many of you guys know. I'll just read through here for you to let you know what I was covering yesterday, and then we'll kind of get into what we're going to be covering today. But I know people are still coming in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button on this video, and also. If you guys would like to be a monthly partner, there is a join me. There's 4 different levels that you can support this channel if you so choose. So I want to make sure that those are out there for you. So I wanted to read who Curtis Reeves was. This was the case that I was following. I've got to get a hold of the Associated Press because that's where I've got to get the video of this. I'm going to go ahead and play this. Second. Let me share my screen, add. I'm going to mute myself so it doesn't get the...
Legal experts I spoke with tell me seating a jury in this case may be a challenge because of how widely it was covered by the media. But again, it has been 8 years since Chad Olson was fatally shot in that movie theater, and that passage of time may mean that some potential jurors never even heard of the case, and those that have may have forgotten details. Still, the publicity the case has received and how to address it was one of the first issues Judge Susan Bartle discussed with attorneys. We also got a look at how it will be handled going forward.
So that was the actual courtroom that I was in. Do I have my cell phone hooked up here? I do have my cell phone hooked up here. Give me just a second. Let me, we'll go in here. So the rules were I was allowed to record anything and everything while I was in the courtroom until the judge was present. Once the judge was present, I have to now, as many of you guys know, I'm part of the press. So I have to, at that point, reach out to the Associated Press to get the stills and reach out to the courthouse, to their video team to get the videography, which I will be doing today just for some of the work that we're going to be doing and showcasing a little later. Good morning, Truth Teller. Good morning, everyone. Oh, Whitney. Yeah, we just started. This has only been going on for 12 minutes. If many, for the coffee club, how it kind of works. I know we have some new people here. How coffee club kind of works is for the first few minutes, everybody's just kind of waking up, getting their coffee. We just kind of have a chit chat, and then we kind of get into the meat and potatoes of why we're here, right? So many of you guys know the reason why we're here is we need a brainstorm. We need to brainstorm today. We had some great news that came out of Hawkins County yesterday. We are truly blessed. It took an army to help, Summers Army, to help push, I believe, the judge into the right direction. I believe he got the maximum because it sounds like for his violation of probation, I could be wrong. I didn't look at the sentencing guidelines, but I believe he may have gotten the top charge or the sentencing for that violation of probation. I believe he did receive the top sentencing, and I have to believe that had to do with our pressure campaign to the judge and assistant attorney to push for that sentencing. I mean, Don is a bad dude. He is, 40-year criminal across multiple states. He's obviously has not learned his lesson after 40 years of beating women. Even as soon as January 19th, cops were called out there for him putting his hands yet again on Candus. In court, believe it or not, he had stated that he's trying to get away from Candus. It's funny. Walk out the door. It's easy, right? Now you're in jail. So what's your excuse? She's gone. Walk out, never see her again. It's that easy, Don. It's just that easy. So now we're going to turn our focus onto Candus and pressuring the law enforcement to detain her, to take her in and arrest her for child welfare issues and crimes that she has committed against not just Summer, but all her children. All of her children. Even Don. He's saw smoking with his 11-year-old. He saw smacking his 11-year-old in the head and face. The environmental negligence, all these things, the interior of that house negligence, having unsafe, endangering the children. These are all the things that they could be charged with. And when, if you didn't even want to charge them over Summer, there's 3 other boys that they could be charging these same crimes against the parents for, right? What is going on in Hawkins County? What is going on with TBI? They're making a mockery of this case, an absolute mockery. Don Wells and Candace Bly are not the only culprits in making a mockery out of TBI in Hawkins County. So anyways, getting back to the case that we covered yesterday, which was Curtis Reeves. Curtis Reeves was a retired police officer, and he went to a movie theater. Mind you, this was during the day. There wasn't a whole lot of people in that movie theater. He could have literally sat anywhere in that theater, literally sat anywhere. And he chooses to sit behind the only 6'4" tall guy in the theater, right? Well, this guy, as you guys just saw in that little clip that I showed you, actually had his phone out, and he was texting with his babysitter. You guys saw him with his wife and his child. So he was on the phone and texting with his babysitter. And this jerk off behind him, which was the retired cop, decides to start yelling at him for being on his phone, telling him to put the phone away. And the guy's a little, he's probably just saying, whatever, dude, just leave me alone, and continues to go about it. And in true fashion of a man that just can't mind his own darn business, he has to get up and probably goes to try to find a manager or somebody to tell him, because he's a retired cop. He's got that pompous cop attitude that I'm the law, even though he's not anymore. And you should listen to me, even though, he's a normal citizen now. And it makes me wonder when he got out of that. I don't know. I don't know. They're in jury selection right now. They're not, talking about the case. The trial's not going to go forward until Thursday. So I may go and sit in and document the case, write an article about it, do something. I'm not sure quite what I'm going to do yet with it, but the trial actually starts on Thursday. So hopefully I will be present. I will be there, just again, documenting what's going on and maybe, touching base with, posting that stuff here on YouTube. So we'll see. But anyways, long story short, he went out. It makes me wonder, did he go get a gun out of his car, or if he had the gun on him at the time? Because he was a retired cop, he did have a concealed weapons permit. He was lawfully carrying a gun. However, he's trying to do a stand your ground case, which, we just covered the whole Trayvon Martin 10-year, the 10-year anniversary of Trayvon Martin is coming up. And it was the first time I had been out there to see what actually transpired and how it transpired. And it made me scratch my head. Like, I don't now know. I am a staunch believer of the stand your ground law. I really do believe in it, but it needs to be applied appropriately also. And so I have questions about that case, but, George Zimmerman has went to court. He had due process. The jury of his peers have found him not guilty. So I'm curious with this case, because in the movie theater case, the difference is not only was this gentleman unarmed, he threw popcorn. Hardly, I don't know if it was the whole box, if he just threw it down and some splattered up, I don't know. I wasn't there, but there was something about popcorn. And that is the reason why this officer pulled out his gun and killed this man. Okay. This retired police officer. You would think retired police officers would have more control on the use of force because they're trained to have more control on how they utilize the force. Throwing popcorn, I'm sorry, is not life-threatening. If you get popcorn on you, oh well, right? Oh well. And not only that, but this older gentleman, is the reason that this argument ensued in the first place. If he would have just gotten up and moved, or maybe not even sat behind him, I mean, this whole movie theater was wide open. There was a plethora of seats that he could have sat in. He could have sat further out. He could have sat on either side, if it was a problem. But he didn't want to. He wanted his authority to be heard. And that's where I have a problem with this case with Curtis Reeves. So I'm very curious personally how this case is going to go in the courts. I really do believe this gentleman is definitely guilty of first-degree murder. I hope that the jury comes back as such based on what I have read, what I've studied, what I heard back 8 years ago. This is by far the longest legal maneuvering of a capital crime. I don't know if it's a capital crime, but definitely a murder case. It is very rare that you hear a murder case drag on for 8 years. His defense attorneys have been able to legally maneuver an 8-year while he's been out living his life. He was 71 at the time. He's most likely going to die in prison if he's convicted. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to shed one single tear because his beautiful baby girl, which was only 22 months at the time, has to live her whole life without ever knowing who her dad is. And that is the true travesty here. So getting back to Summer Wells, that was just one case. And then we'll actually, let me go ahead and get Paola Miranda out of the way as well before we jump into the meat and potatoes of this this particular segment. So yes, thank you for Jonathan's been posting. Here's his Twitter. Here's mine. I'm at American Law at American Law 411. That's been my handle for years because obviously being a paralegal that I am. So Paola Miranda, you know, we have mixed feelings on that case. It's just to give you guys an update. As many of you guys know, we were out there hunting and searching for her 3 separate days. Before we went to Texas, we went out there and spent an entire day out there. We realized we needed to have our wading gear on to get into the river, to look in the river and whatnot. And so, you know, we went to Texas, came back, and then we decided to get an Airbnb and go out there and spend 2 days. As many of you know, I came back with horrible blisters because we walked from the time we woke up to the time we left and went home to go to bed. It was insane. The amount of walking to try to find Paola was insane. And we didn't have horsebacks. We didn't have ATV. We didn't have Polaris. It was our feet. It was a diligent, thoughtful search. You know, no, and that was one of the things that Andrea, Paola's sister, had indicated that she felt that they weren't doing the diligent search that needed to be done. We went out there and did that diligent search, at least in the areas that we covered. That is a huge area, huge. But we're also thinking this is not the first time Paola had been in the area, you know, not in that area. We can't confirm that she had ever been to that park before. What we can confirm is that this is not the first time she's been in an environment like that. So she's an experienced person at these preserve and reserve type parks. Okay. So it's kind of hard for me to see her going into thick brush. You know, people know that kind of brush has poisonous snakes, poisonous spiders. Just the elements are really bad when you start getting into that thick brush and things of that nature. Could she have gotten confused and tried to find her way out? And as she tried to find her way out, got further and further in there? Absolutely. Absolutely. And the first day that we went there, we searched and we got confused. We got mixed up. We got ourselves lost for about 4 minutes. And that 4 minutes felt like an eternity for us. We were able to quickly correct course, get back, follow the stream and get back out. No problem. But it was still, we did definitely confirm an alternative method of what could have happened to her, right? So, because when we went out there, we heard that this was just a gator infested area, that, she was most likely taken by an alligator. And well, that may very well be true. While we've been there, the entire time that we have been there walking that, I think we collectively have covered, I want to say about 40 square miles ourselves. To be honest with you, 40 square miles, that's quite a lot. And I could be wrong. It might be 20 square miles. I'm not sure, but it was definitely a large, I think it was 40 square miles. There's 4 of us. We walked over, just the 2 days, walked over 20 miles each. And then we had that third day that was done that Thursday before we left for Texas. So we've covered a lot of land out there. Just a little speck on the map of greenery. Okay. But we were able to check mark these locations off of the search area. That's the help that we were able to provide. The whole time that we were out there, we never saw one gator. Not one gator the entire time we were out there. However, that was just from our view. We stopped kayakers. We stopped paddleboard people. We stopped people that were out there just lounging around and talked to them. And we did find out that there is gators out there. There are a lot. There is a gator community, right? Not necessarily in and around Otter Creek, but as you saw, she was walking. I mean, she was up to her in one of the photos, up to her chest in water, just walking and enjoying that river. If she was not accustomed to knowing that environment and realizing there's some pretty large gators there, you know, a gator could have gotten her. That is a possibility. It's a real possibility. At the time, if you saw our videos, there were big signs about gators. Don't feed the gators. Don't get in the water. You know, basically, enter at your own risk. You know, they can't stop people from getting in the water because, you know, they're not there to monitor it. They're not there to enforce it. So it's kind of a sign. Basically, you're entering in at your own risk. And so, long story short, you know, we have not found one article of clothing outside of her sister potentially finding those footprints that were traced in that orange tape. We haven't found any sign of her or any sign of life, which is very, very sad. With one of the folks that on the very last day that we went out there and went on the other side, on the Rock Springs State Park side, we ran into a gal and she told us that she saw, you know, 3 different gators ranging from 10 foot to 14 foot. Gators that are 10 foot to 14 foot are huge. I want to show you. That is one huge gator. That is not, you get a hold, that sucker gets a hold of your foot, you're done. Okay. That's a 10-foot gator. That's a 10-foot gator. That gator most likely weighs 900 pounds or more. How many feet was that one? Death roll 10. He was 10 foot, 2 inches. Now, mind you, this is not the gator that was in that area at the time. This is just a gator to show you. This is in South Carolina. This is just a gator to show you the size of gator. So right there to show you the size of the type of gator that's there. You're not talking about a small gator. You're talking about a 10 foot. And so 10 to 14 feet. Okay. So we're going to go to 14 feet and see what we can find. Okay. This is the type of gator that was out there. Right there. Hold on. Maybe we'll unmute in just a second. I wish it just had a photo of it. Sorry, guys. 18 more seconds. I'll take it off until it's ready to come up. So, but I mean, you're talking about a massive gator. You know what I'm saying? So it is possible and it is probable.
From Florida that are captivating people online. Let's start with this clip of this massive alligator spotted at a nature reserve in Polk County. Kim Joyner just passing by when she caught the estimated 14-foot creature. Look at him sauntering across that pathway.
Would you lie on the ground there, Carson?
Nope. This isn't the first time the alligator has been seen in the area. People say they recognize it by its distinct hump on its back, hence the...
I don't know about you, but that is a huge freaking gator. Not sure about you. Not sure about you, but that is one meaty gator. So I can get back to that. Look at that. That is a huge gator. That is a 14-foot alligator. That is what we had confirmed by 3 or 4 eyewitnesses that were laying on the bank, sunbathing the last day that we were in the area. That is a 14-foot alligator. I don't even want to guess how big that alligator is. I don't even want to guess, right? So, with that being said, that is scary. That was what was in the area and in the water that the day that Paola went missing. So it is a real possibility that a gator got her, you know. The final thing that could have happened is she made it back to her car, and something happened from there, you know. That is another thing that could have happened. We don't know. All I can tell you is we've searched, you know, the family has gotten hundreds of people out there over the several searches that they've done. They're the ones that found the car. They're the ones that found the footprints. They're the ones that have been begging law enforcement to do more. Law enforcement has barely done anything in this case. We heard about it. We went out there. We tried to help. We have helped. We've brought major attention. The videos that we have done have gone viral on TikTok. Millions of people. One that's over, I believe, 10 million views right now. Another one that has over 1 million views. Another one that has over 2 million views. And another one that has 4 or 5 million views. So we've brought a lot of attention to this case of Paola Miranda Rosa and what could have happened to her. And we've also went out there and searched and got about 40, I believe it was 40 square miles checked off. And this is not just on one side of the Rock Springs Run Spring, you know, river. This is actually on both sides of the river that we've been able to go and search. It was a lot of work. Many people that don't understand the amount of work that goes into something like that, it is a large amount of work. So anyways, guys, go fill up your coffee. We're going to be going into Summer Wells, Dawn Wells, and Candus Bly here shortly. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. Some stuff we've already covered. Some stuff is new. We need to brainstorm as promised. Good morning. What's up, Buttercup? Good to see you here. Good to see you here, love. You missed a lot. I got to say, we were going over, we went over Curtis Reeves, the case that I was monitoring yesterday from the courthouse, the cop that, shot and killed an innocent person in there, an unarmed gentleman by the name of Chad Olson, and shot his wife, Nicole, in the hand as she tried to stop the bullet that went through her hand, through her wedding ring finger, right? Is the bullet that killed her husband and went straight through. It's very sad. Very sad. I don't even want to think. Oh, and then on the way there, let's see if I can pull this up. On the way there, we let's see if there's a way for me to pull this up. Hold on a second. See if I. Oh wait, no. Maybe he doesn't have it. All right, let me see if I can. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to see if there's something I can do here. I want to get into my phone. I got a video. It was horrific. Before we get into Summer Wells, I wanted to show you guys this. It was horrific of what we passed yesterday. Somebody lost their lives. I got to clean out my phone, don't I? Yes, I do. Somebody lost their lives yesterday. going to that we were backed up in traffic for a little minute. And I got to say, it was so sad because when we passed, we knew that somebody couldn't have survived, you know. And when we were coming back from the courthouse, we decided to check on the news to see if we could find any information on that automobile accident that we saw heading up there. And how did she send that to me? No, she sent that through WeTransfer. Hold on a second. I bet you I got it on this. Let's see if I got it on this computer. I bet you I do, without going through my cell phone. Download. There it is. All right, I'm going to pull it up for you guys. It's sad. It's very sad. So there's there's the man, Curtis. There's the young man that. Let me just pull this up so you guys can see it. Golly, what does it pop over here? So that for those people, that gentleman, the older gentleman, is the retired cop that shot that young man and his wife at a movie theater. It's a shame. It's a shame. I would say that older gentleman should not have had a gun. And then we're going to go into some other cases here. Let me get it back up. Okay. Here it is.
Someone survived that.
Oh, that was bad. That's bad. That's so we went by a horrific, horrible accident on the way to the court hearing. And it was really, really bad. And it was fiery. It was horrific. I'm surprised everybody that were involved. There were 3 automobile accidents or 3 automobiles that were involved, all cars. And they were all just mangled. We were surprised coming back that not more people had lost their life in that wreck. It was very sad. So, we're praying for the folks that lost their loved one yesterday as we were making our way to Pasco County to cover the case of Curtis Reeves. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into what happened yesterday. So I was coming back, from this case. I was calling everybody to find out if anybody, I even reached out to Chad Bricks. He's the WHL, whatever that news, or JLA or something. I can't remember what news organization he's from. He's the one that did the coverage of us in Rogersville. He came out to our hotel, and of course, all the haters blew him up and whatever. Anyways, long story short, I reached out to him and he was not feeling well. He was having some COVID-like symptoms, so he was home, and I wished him, a speedy recovery and whatnot. And so I was just monitoring, and finally we did find out that Don Wells actually went to jail yesterday. He never got to leave that courthouse. I was very thankful. Finally, somebody, and they didn't go easy on him too. Like I said, I think they gave him the maximum for the violation of probation, which was 11 months, 29 days. The judge required him to at least serve 180 days. If he did an in-jail treatment program, he would, what was it? He may be eligible. Doesn't mean he's guaranteed to walk out there after 6 months, but he may be eligible after spending 6 months behind bars. So now, as of yesterday, when we were discussing this, I was talking about, Candus, in my opinion, is the worst, right? Some people have differing. Some people think it was Dawn that did something to Summer. I'm thinking, based upon the information that we've collected and the interviews that we've had with people that were in and around and had firsthand knowledge of the events that took place on June 15th, that it was Candus that was being irresponsible. Candus's negligence led to grave things happening to Summer. I believe it was only Don Wells that actually assisted in the cover-up of what happened under Candus's watch. That's what I've been able to determine and piece together with the information that we have and that we got while we were in Rogersville on two separate trips. So as many of you know, our team was going out there on the first trip. And regardless of how people feel about it, we would have went out there regardless. We did go out there. We went out there with our own funds. The first trip, we were reimbursed at the graciousness of someone's heart. At least that's what we thought. So, you know, at the end of the day, we work with ourselves. We do the things that we do as a team, and we love the team that we've created. So I don't really want to get into too much, you know, back and forth with that. But for those that love and believe in me and believe in the team that we've created, we hope that you continue to support us. I refuse to get into the drama. I refuse to get into the slinging of accusations back and forth. Believe what you want to believe. That's the only statement I've got. Believe what you want to believe. You see me here. You see others here. You can believe what you and choose to believe each and every day. So at the end of the day, Tennessee Department of Children's Services, we've covered this on, I think, 3 different lives. We're going to keep coming back to this. We're going to keep coming back to this because we don't understand. We don't understand how DCS has this, but nothing is getting done. There was more than just Summer Wells in that home. There was 3 boys that lived through this nightmare right along with Summer. Summer is the only one that lost her life, in my opinion. I don't believe Summer is still alive. I don't believe she's in the sex trafficking trade because there is no information that that we've been able to find. Real, not hypotheticals and stuff like that. Real, facts of the case, right? So we interviewed people that had firsthand knowledge of, and we brought that stuff to you. We've got Hunter, we've got Hunter's mother, Hunter's grandmother, Hunter's great-grandmother, right? We talked to Dotson's daughter. We've which talked to us about the separation between them. We talked to Chad with the newspaper up there. There's a separation from Don Wells and the church, right? So we have all these different things going on, and you have to ask yourself why. And so instead of just asking ourselves why, we ask the people. And it's because they believe that Don Wells and Candus Wells are involved with the disappearance of their child. Okay? Their behaviors changed, right? Their behaviors changed. What they did and how they talked and the things that people knew were lies. Don and Candus still chose to spread those, but the people in and around Don and Candus at the time Summer went missing know the truth, right? Even as much as the door being in that basement where they call the children's room, which is a basement, a dungeon, that door stayed locked and there was a couch in front of it. Where did the couch go, right? People that have been in that house, like you and me, wouldn't have known about it, right? The people that are, the sympathizers of Don and Candus wouldn't have known about it, right? So how would we find out about that? Because people with firsthand knowledge that have been in that home many times, actually lived in that home at some point, knew, and recently lived in that home and stayed the night there as of recently prior to the events, right? And where did that couch go? And why was that door unlocked, right? Where did it go? That room was cleaned up. That room, and it was sad because the majority of Summer's toys were pitched. How would you know that? You wouldn't know that unless you had firsthand accounts, people with knowledge of what happened in and around that house at all hours of the night. They know that Candus is on drugs. They know that Candus was using actual methamphetamines on the day that, or the night before, Summer went missing. Okay. So this idea that Candus used to be on drugs, it is not anymore. No, that's not true. She just had all of her teeth ripped out because she had meth mouth, So I don't understand how these people can justify that. I mean, and not only that, but drug exposure is on this list as a requirement for child removal, right? So where are the charges, TBI? Where are the charges, DCS? Where are the charges? Don is now in jail for at least 6 months. We need to start working on Candus Wells and how are we going to get her locked up and so does anybody have any ideas? Like, what are we going to be doing here? We've got to do something. We have to do something. One's down. Let's get the other one behind bars. Something needs to happen. I know that there's been a lot of stuff going around because not too far from Hawkins County, they found a body in an RV park. It's a body, not remains. There's a difference. You gotta, people that are in this stuff don't realize some of the words that are used describe a lot, right? They didn't say remains, they said bodies. So that tells me that it's somebody that probably recently passed away. Okay. We all know that there was 3 escapees, from the jail, from Sullivan County Jail. We were just in that county. That's where where we were protesting in front of Don's job, when all those Sullivan County sheriffs came out to tell Don that we were within our rights, right? We were in our rights to protest. And there's nothing he can do about it. And anyways, there was 3 escapees, but you looked at the rap sheet of 2 of them, which were really, really bad, which ended up getting in the gunfire with law enforcement, I think in North Carolina. There was still, they couldn't find the one other guy. And I didn't understand it because he had like chump change crimes. Like it doesn't seem like he would have been in that county very long based on his charge. I think it was like a domestic battery, something misdemeanors. Like these other guys were like hardcore felons, like just brutal felons. And then you got this putz that did some, some just misdemeanor type crimes. I mean, granted, you gotta go to jail. You gotta pay your price. You gotta pay your debt to society and whatnot. When you break the law, you just have to. It's part of the process. When you're convicted of a crime, it's just part of the process. But compared, when you see these other 2 guys, and then you have this other gentleman, and you look at him, it's like, so I think that they use the other gentleman as the mastermind for their escape. And I think that they went once he was gone, because they were both, I think, convicted of murder or some pretty, strong stuff. So, could it be, a lot of people were alleging that it's summer out there at that RV park, but they didn't say remains, they said body. And you would think, and they didn't say child or adolescent remains or body. They said body. You're thinking of an adult person. So it makes you wonder, that third person has not been found. I don't know if there was any more news on it. Again, I went to bed very early last night, so I'm unsure. But I have to say, I have a funny feeling it's related to that escapee versus the versus Summer Wells. I could be wrong. Yeah, right. I keep wondering, I heard Candus was on Kitty's channel begging people for money. Oh, pity me, poor me. She has no children. She's an adult that is not handicapped in any way. She can go out and get a job and support herself and support the household. Yet she wants to beg people for money and sit at home on her hands, drinking her booze and smoking her drugs. And people sympathize with her. What about all the money you guys have raised for her? Where did all that money go? The tens of thousands of dollars that was raised for her previously. Where is all that money? Smoked up, drunk up. That's where all that money went. Because she's not taking care of her children. She doesn't have any children to take care of. She only has a drug and alcohol addiction to feed. Yes, thank you. This is sickening. This is sickening. Oh, her abusive husband is in jail and she needs money because she refuses to go to work. Oh my God. I tell you, folks, truth is stranger than fiction. Truth is stranger than fiction. You know? Truth is stranger than fiction. Getting a fill up. You guys need to get your fill up. Go and get it. I brought my handy dandy thermos. I find it easier just to have it here. That's why I started when I started. But I just want to go over this stuff. So I see that there's a lot of new visitors here. Hi, folks. Thank you for joining. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Like this show. We're going to be going over a lot. We got to brainstorm. I need your help. We need to figure out what we need to do. I'm going to need my mods to start looking up the politicians in Tennessee. We need to have a total list of politicians. Send them over to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, and we'll run with it tomorrow. We're going to start a massive email and mail campaign for those that would like to participate. It's time to take the gloves off. We got one Wells in jail. Don Wells is now waking up this morning in Hawkins County Jail. He is going nowhere. Where is Don going? Nowhere. What's Candus going to do? What's Candus going to do? She's going to beg for money. She's going to spread her legs for money. She's going to smoke her drugs. She's going to have a revolving door now that Don is out. She is not a faithful woman. She is a very narcissistic person, that like you think about it. She is a mom of a missing 5-year-old child. When have we seen her come to the media, not social media? When have we seen her call law enforcement and look for her son? The only call she's made to law enforcement was about our team, right? But she lied under oath about me being, I can't speak for anybody else, but I know for a fact Andrew Griffin was never trespassing on any property. I stayed on the road. I know the law. I can tell you that. So any affidavit that has my name in it is a flat out lie, right? So it's false. Those affidavits were false. She lied under penalty of perjury. Andrea Bullhorn Betty didn't lie under penalty of perjury. She did. Right? And so did Don. So first of all, Pinky Page, no, I don't believe I'll ever have to apologize. But hey, you know what? If they're found not guilty, I'll apologize. Yeah, I'll be big enough to apologize, but I don't have to worry about it. Like, I'm losing literally no sleep. I went out and looked. I'm telling you, you guys are going to find out these parents had something to do with this child's disappearance. You're going to find out about it, period. There's not a doubt in my mind. For those that haven't investigated and want to play devil's advocate, that's a different story. And they have every right to do. But they're sitting behind a chair and a computer, right? We went out there and talked to all the people. Like, here's Don Wells and Candus Wells. All these people that have firsthand knowledge about them. We've talked to them. We've actually turned over videos of interviews to the law enforcement there because they were that powerful. Firsthand knowledge for people that don't understand is evidence, right? It's not hearsay. There's a difference between firsthand knowledge and hearsay. These are based upon firsthand knowledge accounts. These are eyewitness, okay? That firsthand knowledge is i.e. eyewitness. The best kind of evidence you can have, okay? So for these people that say, where's the evidence? The evidence are the people, the eyewitness testimony. That is evidence. Period. It's evidence. It's evidence that can be used in a criminal case. Love Miss Robin. Love you. So, Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. I do. It's my constitutional right to. My question is, why are you here downtown? Why are you here if you don't like what I have to say? I mean, there's a lot of places you could be right now. Really. There's a lot of places you can be like, why be here? Just saying. Just saying. There you go. Aw, truth teller. I can't wait to see pictures of those babies. You're going to have to send. I wouldn't put them on here, but I would like to see them. Send them to my Gmail. Send them to my Gmail. I'd love to see them. I'd love to see them. So. Oh, yeah. Oh, can't live without them, right? They hate me so much they can't can't stay away from me, right? That sounds more like love and obsession than hate. So maybe they just want attention. Maybe they just want attention. Everybody needs a little love, right? Everybody. Even the haters. We pray for them. But hey, to each their own. I know. Good question, Karen. Good question. I have no clue. I have no clue. So, I have no clue. Yeah. Me too, but they'll never stop. Thousands have been made off me, but they bring me people, right? They bring me people. So, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Can you clarify on C&D you sent crude? No. So I'm not going to be discussing any legal matters. I'm not going to be discussing any personal matters. Just for your information, no, I will not be discussing that. I don't bring my business here to YouTube. Okay, others do. There's the difference. It's called integrity. So no, I handle my business. So sorry about that. Had I known I actually hit the button, I wouldn't have even responded to you. But since I had already brought you, accidentally hit you and brought you up here, I figured I would address it. No, I'm not going to be discussing legal matters or personal matters on YouTube. I'm not a child. I'm not in middle school. Do you know what a cease and desist letter is? I would do a little bit of research first. What do you mean it's not legal? It is absolutely above board and absolutely lawful and legal. What are you talking about? It's putting them on notice. What do you think a cease and desist letter is? This is what irritates me. Go be a Google attorney for a second, okay? I went to school for this stuff. Graduated with a 3.67 GPA. Top 10% or top 2% of my class on Dean's List and on honor roll every single semester. What do you mean it's not legal? Give me a freaking break. Go get an education. Don't tell me what's legal and not legal. You honestly believe that a cease and desist letter coming from me is not a legal document? Get out of here with that BS. Get out of here. Good morning, downtown. That's all I'm going to say about that. So people, for my mods, anybody that's asking personal questions or legal questions, I want them removed, please. They don't have to necessarily be blocked. I mean, we have to accept the trolls in here, but if they get under my skin, we'll start blocking them too. So just to let you know, I shouldn't even have said as much as I said, but in all fairness, a cease and desist letter is a legal document. A cease and desist letter can come from anybody. A cease and desist letter, people need to go figure out what the heck that is. That woman just looked like an idiot in here. Did she not? Did she not? A fake cease and desist. There is no such thing as a fake cease and desist letter, folks. Who made that up? Who made that up? Idiots. Idiots. People that don't know what the hell they're talking about. That's what it is. So getting back to this, let's just go over some of the stuff that we've been talking about. So related to Summer Wells case, right? This is a work aid. We went over this for those that haven't been here very often or are just tuning in. We went over this on a couple of other lives. I'm going to go over it again with you guys. And, so here's some of the requirements for abuse and negligence, right? So these would be child abuse hotline accepts reports that meet established criteria and definitions of abuse and neglect. Okay. So the very first one, I have to believe that these are in order for a reason. I mean, usually that's the way it is, from the most severe to the least severe. I could be wrong. Let's see what the last one is. Oh, well, maybe I'm wrong. So maybe the other ones they consider are more severe. Maybe it's not even in order because the last one's death, right? Child death. So I have to think that's the most severe. So the first one, but that's the first classification in here is physical abuse. So I'm just going to read this stuff. We're just going to go through it a little bit. And this is the reason why I am very highly upset with law enforcement in Tennessee, because there's not just one child in this home. There were 4 children. One's missing. 3 have been removed. And there's still no child neglect, child abuse, or child endangerment charges filed against either Don Wells or Candus Bly in this matter. That is a travesty. That is, I don't know what's going on. And I'm sorry, but there are 3 other children in this home. You don't have to wait for the disposition of Summer Wells' case to charge them for the other 3 children. Those can be separated. Even the stuff prior to Summer Wells' disappearance can be separated. They can be charged with past crimes. You see it going on in Georgia. You see it going on in Virginia. And for those that are tuning in, what do I mean by Georgia? What do I mean by Virginia? So just recently, Kiera Cotton reported her young son missing. After the police, searched and believed her, and then did an investigation on her, found her to have committed child cruelty. So she was immediately charged with child cruelty, right? And a day later, they found his body a county over. This was just recently. Now, just in this last week, we hear about a Cody Bigsby. Cody Bigsby was a 4-year-old, beautiful boy that was reported missing from his father. Guess what? Virginia didn't play. They went and locked his butt up. They still have not found that 4-year-old child. So what is TBI's problem here? They found child abuse, child neglect, child endangerment with Kiera Cotton. They found child abuse, child endangerment, child neglect with Corey Bigsby, the father of Cody Bigsby. And then you've got TBI that's sitting on their hands and on their butts while these 2 despicable people that caused great harm to 4 children, and those weren't their only victims, sitting up there smoking crack, doing meth, and drinking their alcohol. It's despicable, and it's infuriating. It's infuriating, I got to say. You're lucky you weren't blocked. I mean, I have to think that a 5-minute timeout is probably pretty nice of my mods, and it's because I instructed them you would normally be blocked, just to let you know. The one that's complaining about being timed out. You're lucky. And if you don't want to be here, you don't have to watch, right? Here, let me help you. If you're going to be here, disruptive. There we go. All right. Well, now she's blocked. Coming into my channel. Come on, give me a break. Come to my channel and stir up your crap. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So, and then so physical abuse is and this is, and I like this one because it says, I'll just keep reading. For physical abuse, a non-accidental physical injury or trauma that could cause injury inflicted by a parent, legal custodian, relative, or any other person who is responsible for the care, supervision, or treatment of the child. Physical abuse also includes, but is not limited to. That means that these what that means is these little 3 bullet points are not the all end, right? So there could be more different types of abuse. These are just some criteria of abuse. So the first one, and this is the one I like, a parent or legal custodian caretaker's failure to protect a child from another person who perpetrates physical abuse on a child. Why is this important? This may not be important with the Summer Wells case, but this is important across the board, right? I do believe that other people may have abused her, but we only know that Candus was the primary abuser of Summer. And that's what we've been able to ascertain through eyewitness testimony. Again, evidence, firsthand knowledge that can be used in a court of law. Now, again, this is not something that Bullhorn Betty has alone. Law enforcement has all this evidence. They have it right here. It's in their possession, custody, and control that they've been sitting on and sitting on their hands and not doing a darn thing with the evidence that they have collected. So I want to make sure that that's clear for everybody here. So, yeah. So anyways, that's that. Injuries, marks, or bruises that go beyond temporary redness or in excess of age-appropriate corporal punishment. Age-appropriate corporal punishment comes after the age of 6, I believe. Yes, after the age of 6. I'll read that here in just a second. So that means all those bruises that were on Summer when her mom was shaking her and smacking her in her face, that was against the law because she was not of the age of 6 years old yet. Okay, that is evidence. That is firsthand knowledge that is within law enforcement's possession, custody, and control. They have the evidence to prove this, and they're choosing to sit on it and sit on their duffs and do nothing with it. Violent behavior by a parent or legal custodian, caretaker that demonstrates disregard for the presence of the child could reasonably result in serious injury, striking, hitting, kicking, punching, slapping a child in such a way that would result in internal injuries, factitious disorder imposed on another. That's FDIA. You might want to look that up. Formerly known as Munchausen's by proxy syndrome, could be considered physical abuse, medical neglect, or psychological abuse. Okay, so Munchausen's by proxy. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because that's going to be important on another case that I'm going to be discussing with each of you as we roll this segment out. Physical abuse should not be confused with developmental appropriate discipline related marks and bruises on the buttocks or legs of a child 6 years of age or older. As we all know, Summer Wells disappeared at the age of 5. So let's see what this was. 6 years when there are no development or physical delays, past history of abuse. Okay, this is important because they say that parents are allowed to do this kind of discipline for 6 years. The temporary redness on buttocks. I missed this the first segment, so let me read this note, these notes in its entirety, and we'll go back to it and I'll explain it a little bit. So under the note, it says physical abuse should not be confused with developmentally appropriate discipline-related marks and bruises on the buttocks or legs of children 6 years of age or older when there are no developmental or physical delays past history of abuse or recent within the past year screened out of reports. So they're telling them if there's any past history of abuse, parents can't even provide this appropriate disciplinary related corporal punishment for 6 years older. Why is that important? Because as you know, Candus Bly was had her first set of children taken away from her due to the abuse that she perpetrated upon them. And then when DCF decided to come and take those children away, she pulls out a shotgun on them. This is the first set of children she had. So, and we have in the past, I don't understand why DCS was just now getting involved in Tennessee. I really don't. They should have been involved in 2020 when Don Wells was convicted of the domestic abuse and having a gun in his car. DCS should have been involved and pulled those kids then. There have been so many incidents on that mountain. It is shocking to me, absolutely shocking, that it took DCS this long to get involved with this case. It turns my stomach. Yeah. They've gotten away with everything. Everything. I hope the Teflon, what was it? Somebody said the Teflon's rubbing off or you know, they've gone this long for so many years doing this stuff. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that they've gotten away with all this stuff. It really is. So drug exposure is B, right? It's the second thing on here. We all know that those kids were exposed to drugs, alcohol, drugs. I mean, we have 2 incident reports of parents calling the law enforcement trying to get their children off that mountain because of alcohol, because they were being fed alcohol by Don and Candus, right? And again, this is eyewitness testimony. This is evidence that can be used to show drug exposure. Allowing children, contributing to the delinquency of a minor. That is a crime. This is evidence, not bullhorn. I mean, I have it too. I have the evidence too. I have videos. The only thing I don't have is them signing a paper, an affidavit under penalty of perjury. But if I need to go out there back to Tennessee and get those affidavits under penalty of perjury to submit to law enforcement, I'm happy to do so if they are too ill-equipped to do their job. But they already have them. Why aren't they acting on them? Oh, that's right. Because they got Ronnie Lawson out there that doesn't want to do his job or train his law enforcement officers correctly. That's why. So these children were exposed to drugs, and drugs, I just want to make sure that you guys understand, is not just like meth and stuff like that. Drug under this definition includes alcohol, right? And marijuana. So the reason why I bring up that is because Hunter, which has told law enforcement that she fed him alcohol, that was enough to have her ass thrown in jail. Okay? Excuse my language, but it was enough to have her little butt thrown in jail. So why wasn't she? You know, TBI is overseeing this. TBI has a lot of authority, especially over Hawkins County. So why isn't TBI doing a thing about this? Why aren't they charging them for the crimes against the boys? The negligence against the boys, the child endangerment against the boys. Why not? TBI, you guys, this case is not going to the bottom of your stack. It's not. You guys are allowing this case to go cold because you're not looking at this case and figuring out how you can charge these parents. You've got as much information as I do, or more. They know something happened at that water hole. They know that she did not provide proper medical care to that child. DCS was going out there the very next day, and whoop, Summer's gone. The issue with Hunter is the fault of his parents and Candus, not just Candus. I agree. And the reason why, I do like Allie, but I know that, she's been in denial about a couple things. First of all, one lady stopped us at the side of the road when we were out in front. I was on Beach Creek Road, and she pulled over and she said, Candus shouldn't even have been with Hunter. She wasn't even allowed to be around him. And something, the way she said it made me ask her, do you think Candus is, plays with little boys? And she said, yes. And so we hadn't even met Allie or the mom or her mom or her grandmother. So that would have been Hunter's mother, grandmother, and great grandmother. We hadn't even met them yet. And when I met them, I'm like, look, I said, I have to ask you this, point blank is, do you think Candus has played around with your son? And, she got her mother and her grandmother, hands down, just like that. Absolutely. Allie got upset. No, and ran in the house. I didn't mean to upset her. I knew that the question was going to upset her. I pre-warned her that it was going to be a little shocking, and I'm sorry. I already apologized before I asked the question, but I have to ask. When something like that comes to your attention, you don't just not ask. I had to ask the question. And, since then, we've seen some very questionable TikTok videos where you've got Candus caressing Hunter's head. It's just unsavory. It creeps you out. Then there's this thing where there was another post, I think it was on Facebook, where Candus had a Coca-Cola and Cuervo or something like that sitting next to it. And Allie wrote, have a drink for me. Under it, Hunter wrote, me too. So it clearly shows that, drinking alcohol and it being well known, obviously even his mother knew about it. That's what, you didn't hear her chewing him out and saying, why the heck would she say that? La, 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 la. Like my mother would whip my butt if I had said something like that, period, at that age. Right. So, no, please do not bring up other creators in this chat. With conversation, it's one thing. I'm not sure who was being brought up, but we want to make sure that we keep this. We're trying to keep this channel drama free. There's plenty of drama everywhere else. This is the one thing that we try to get, have drama free and just have information provided. So, at any rate, that's the drug element and not only that, they had, everybody keeps saying Andy wasn't living in that home. Don Wells, as well as Hunter, said that he was there for at least 2 weeks. Does that mean it was the Andy that was married to Jody Sue? I don't know. I don't know. I know that there was somebody that stayed at that house for 2 weeks and his name was Andy. So when we look into it, we find out Jody Sue was married to a guy named Andy, right? And that Andy was Don and Candus's drug dealer. So, and he was there up until right before Summer disappeared. Those are undisputed facts. Now, was it the same? I don't know. But it makes you wonder. So there's a lot of different types of neglect. So now we found out, child abuse is physical abuse, mental abuse, psychological abuse, and then there's also drug exposure as an element to being able to take your children out of that home, for DCS to be involved. If there's a drug element, they can definitely remove your children. We know that there's been years and years and years of drug element in that home, and drugs including but not limited to alcohol and marijuana, right? So the heavy stuff that they're on, the crack cocaine, the methamphetamines, yes, but also the alcohol and the marijuana as well, right? So then there's also negligence, right? So neglect. There's also different stages of neglect. You have environmental neglect, which is, that disgusting house, the stuff outside of the home, right? Those abandoned cars that little children can hurt themselves on. The trash out there that they trip has, that's all negligence, right? They can get them on, these parents on that. They have that. This law enforcement officers not only have eyewitness testimony, they have their own testimony to that fact. They were all out there. They all saw that for themselves, firsthand knowledge by law enforcement. So now you don't just have, people in and around Dawn and Candus providing statements. You have their own law enforcement officers providing them statements. And that's still not enough for TBI to arrest these parents on child abuse, child endangerment, and child neglect charges. Think about that. Their own law enforcement officers have provided statements under oath, under penalty of perjury, about the conditions of this home, the conditions of that mountain. And TBI is still sitting on their hands, doing absolutely nothing. Yes, Kathleen, that's the first thing that came to my mind too. Groomed. Yep. Not only that, but why would any adult want to be feeding children that are 10 years or younger alcohol and drugs? I mean, Hunter was not their first. We've got 2 other incident cards from people I have no idea who they are that had to call law enforcement to go get their children from that mountain because they were being fed drugs and alcohol. Right? What gives? Undisputed facts. Evidence, folks. So sick of people saying I don't bring evidence. Firsthand accounts of what happened is evidence. Law enforcement under penalty of perjury. Guess what? It's evidence. Evidence. Actions. Right? Circumstantial events is evidence. There's nothing wrong with a circumstantial case. There's nothing wrong with a circumstantial case. Many people are in jail for circumstantial cases. All you have to do is prove beyond a reasonable doubt. So also many people have notated the clothes, how big Summer's clothes were on her, how big her shoes. She was not properly clothed. She did not have the proper shoes on her feet, the proper size shoes on her feet. That also, again, is environmental neglect, nutritional neglect. She wasn't getting properly nutritioned. She wasn't eating properly. Her mother, even the day that she went missing, not one time did her mother say she stopped anywhere to feed that baby any food. From 8:30 in the morning until 5:30 in the afternoon. A 5-year-old child had no food but a bag of Skittles. Do you think that's proper nutrition? That was probably an everyday thing. And then Kitty wants to tell me on the phone the reason why she couldn't have candy is because her front tooth, it hurts her when she eats candy. Then why is that all that Candus gives her, right? He was trying to, because I questioned him about the abuse at that convenience store where Candus would let her sons go pick candy up, but wouldn't let Summer, and would smack her and shake her if she started throwing a fit about it. And he said it was because she had a front tooth that was discoloring. First of all, if you have a rotten front tooth, his statement didn't make sense. And I'm sure he believed that that's what Candus and Dawn told him, but it doesn't make sense. Because if you have a rotten tooth, he said that they got loose somehow, and he didn't know how it got loose. And they couldn't remember how it got loose. I'm thinking it was probably from some of the abuse that she was perpetrated upon her. But hey, that's just my thoughts about it. But he said the reason why she can't have candy is because it hurts her front tooth and everything. That the dentist said it was her baby tooth, not to worry about it. A dentist, if you have a rotten tooth, would have pulled that rotten tooth because he does not want the rot to go onto the permanent tooth. So clearly, they never even took her to the dentist, because I have not heard of one dentist willing to leave a rotten tooth in a child's mouth, because it may affect the other tooth that's going to be coming in, above it. So at any rate, he says that the reason why she couldn't have candy, but then we hear in the report that she went over to her grandma and grandma gave her candy, right? We saw the bag of Skittles sitting next to her. We heard her mother say that she went and got herself a grape Slurpee. These are all sugary beverages and sugary things that if she really had this tooth issue, she wasn't supposed to have, right? And that was the reason why she couldn't have candy from this convenience store, and why her mother was shaking her and smacking her. But yet, then why was she getting candy from her mom's, her grandest, supposedly? Why did she have a bag of Skittles, supposedly? Why did she get a great Slurpee, supposedly? These do not make sense with statements. Again, this can be construed as facts, as evidence to be used against them. Medical neglect. As many of you know, we heard from Allie that, the kids were over there playing. I believe it was Josie cut his foot, right? Cut his foot and needed stitches. And so she told Candus she needed to take him to the hospital and get stitches on his foot. Well, lo and behold, she didn't. She wrapped it and took him out of town. She said she couldn't afford to go to the hospital. I thought hospitals were free. I think the reason why they didn't want to take them to the hospital is because there was probably bruises on them. They're trying to hide something. There's a reason why they weren't taking those children to the doctor regularly or to the hospital when they needed to have medical treatments. I don't know if educational neglect was, I don't know. I don't know if educational neglect was there or not, because Summer was supposed to be going to school starting this August. And so, yeah, it does show a pattern of behavior, Kathleen. It does. Sweet Pineapple, I'm wondering why the church never said anything either. But, churches are known for trying to help. I'm sure they provided the family with food. They tried to help the family and reach out to them. I still believe that I still believe there was a lot of people at fault here, not just the church. The church should have been calling in, because these children truly were in danger. The church is responsible because they had people there that had brain cells, right, that could have helped these children, and they chose not to. They chose to pray for them instead of really help them. And now Summer is missing. And also the witnesses, the eyewitnesses, right? They had been around this kind of conduct for years. They've watched this stuff. Like, this stuff all came out after Summer was missing. Why didn't you guys report this stuff before she went missing? Because nobody believed that this would happen, right? Hindsight's 2020. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? So it's just one of those things. Let's see. I think the shaved head was some type of, it could very well be. It could have been as simple as having lice. It's as simple as having lice. Hold on, let me hate this. Oh, come on. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, I think somebody already blocked it. We'll see. Yeah, I think somebody has already blocked it. Okay, which is fine with me. Yeah, Yeah, Kathleen, it's crazy. It's crazy. But hindsight's 2020. I think if anybody ever thought that, Summer would be injured or go missing, I'm sure they would have reported some of these behaviors long before that. But nobody believes it could be them. Nobody believes it could be their friends, the person they were just hanging out with the day before. Nobody believes that, right? Nobody believes that until it happens. I can tell you right now, even Andrea Miranda never thought that her sister would disappear. It just, and you never think it could be you until it's you. And it is sad. Like even yesterday, going to that court hearing, that horrific car wreck, like that could have been us. Seriously, that could have been Olivia and myself, not paying attention. Somebody else not paying attention. Boom, we're gone in a blink of an eye. The world changes in a blink of an eye. Nobody believes anything until it happens. That's the problem. And I really don't believe, I think they were just living life, the way that they were taught to live life. So that means Candus was raised like this, right? By Grandis. She was raised like this. That's why she's like this, right? And these boys would most likely be like this. I worry about Josie because Josie is older. He remembers a lot. Sometimes it's hard to unwind the things that you've been through. And I'm hoping that he gets the help he needs to live a productive life and break the cycle. It's all about breaking the cycle. I had to break the cycle in my life. It took many, many years. I was well into my 30s before I had enough and decided I needed to change my life, not just me, everything, people, places, things. I needed to hand my life truly, fully over to God and just keep walking. Am I perfect? Of course not. Do I make mistakes? Of course I do. I'm human, right? I'm human. But is my life 100 times better than it has ever been? Of course it is. Of course it is. And it took me a long time before I realized I had that control, that my childhood, my past, everything did not have to hold me back, that I could literally wake up and start anew and truly start anew. And I have. And why people try to, drag me back to my past, I will never be beholden to my past again. I move and look forward, not in the back. You can't change your past. You can only move forward, right? I had a lot of trauma. I have had a lot of abuse. And no matter how people try to flip that around and try to make it more because it drives their narrative, they've never lived my life. This idea that I was not an abused woman, that I was this aggressor is ludicrous. That's somebody behind a keyboard that has nothing better to do. Nothing better to do. You're despicable people. You have no earthly idea what I went through. You have no idea how many times I almost lost my life. None. Am I sticking to that story? Of course I am, because it's the truth. Sick. It's people that don't understand nor have ever been in an abusive relationship in their life. I have been abused since the age of 5 years old, maybe before. Sick. Sick. Hey, it's making them money, right? Just kick them out. If you guys block the trolls, they have to wait 5 hours to come back in. You always look at it that way. So we don't know if sexual abuse is coming up next. Unfortunately, guys, we can allege sexual abuse all we want, especially with Don admitting on the telephone that not only did he take a shower with Summer, but he took a shower with Summer and the 3 boys. That was a whole lot of male parts in that little girl's face. I'm just saying. It's a whole lot of, but was there sexual assault? She's gone, right? There's no telling. There's no telling. All I can tell you is DCS was supposed to come the next day, and she's gone. So at any rate, so we can't really determine that. Psychological harm, I've heard over and over again by eyewitness testimony, people with firsthand knowledge. Again, evidence that Candus on a regular told those children she didn't want to have kids, told those children they were no good, called them those kids, even on that recording, that we had of her. Don was coming back from Utah when he went to jail, when that Jose Raymond was in the house and screwing Candus, and Don caught them. At any rate, she even says, he leaves me here for months on end with these kids. Those kids. Something like she didn't even want the kids. Like it's on record. She didn't want the kids, and she did not want girls. She wanted to get rid of Summer. She only wanted boys. But all these people came out of the woodworks after Summer went amiss, right? After Summer went amiss, then they're like, okay, maybe I should have said this. Maybe I should have said that. Maybe nobody thinks that it's going to happen until it does. Nobody thinks it's going to happen until it does. So at any rate, there's that. And then, of course, the domestic violence. Don was just convicted of domestic violence back in 2020. He just violated probation with a DUI, right? He's just now he's serving, as of yesterday, in 11 months, 29 days. He's required to spend 6 months at minimum in Hawkins County Jail. So we need to mark our calendars because we need to protest. I don't want him out. I don't want him out. I want to know where the hell his daughter is. What did he do with her? Candus, where's Summer? Candus, where is Summer? Quit going on Benny's page, begging for money, and start telling us what the heck you did with your daughter. You were the last one to see her. I mean, what is it? 90% of murders is at the hand of the last person that saw them. It's that staggering. What is the statistics on that? Anybody know? I'd like to know. Nobody believes their story because it's a lie. If they're real friends, the people that knew them the best are walking away from them because they know they're lying. Why do we have these people that have never met these disgusting individuals sticking up for them? Everybody in their life, it's everybody else. Did you ever once think that maybe they are responsible? Have you guys even explored the possibility of them being responsible? And you guys are supporting them financially. What are you going to do when they're arrested for the neglect and the disappearance of Summer? You just supported baby killers. How sick are you? And you want to come and attack me? Okay. How's that innocent until proven guilty? If everybody was innocent until proven guilty, nobody would be arrested to go to court. You guys realize that. You realize how asinine that sounds. There would be no investigation because you're innocent, right? People are idiots. I wish they would record themselves before they open their mouth. I really do. Yes, exactly. But people still want to say that they're good parents. I feel so bad. They lost their daughter. Well, they contributed to losing their daughter. Even if that child was abducted, it's because of their actions that caused that child to be abducted. But we know she wasn't abducted. We know something happened at the waterhole. Where's the evidence of that? It's circumstantial. Okay, it's the fact that she has PTSD-like symptoms. It's the fact that Hunter has never been the same again. It's the fact that Hunter's own statements describe a drowning. That's the evidence. Put those pieces together. What do you come up with? So what? Why are you posting his name in my chat? Why? Go to your leader. If you want to be here, go to your leader. Stay out of me. Stay out of my room. I don't care for him. I don't care for him. I want nothing to do with that man. What he has done to me is despicable. Thank you, vet girl. Nice to see you. Thank you. So, this idea, this ridiculous idea that these parents have their hands clean is sick. Only scumbags would think these people shouldn't be in jail. Scumbags. I'll go on the record in saying that. Come attack me now. Come attack me now. Yeah, don't tell them that. They're just going to get worse. They're just going to get worse. All we can do is just deal with it, right? They don't bother me anymore. I'm still here. Hi. Right? We're still here. Guess what? We're still having the coffee club. And furthermore, this right here is the best-selling item that we have on the site. I have to say, the absolute best-selling item we have on the site. Right there. Right there. Thank you, Michelle. Best-selling item. We're not going anywhere. People don't like my opinion? Oh, well. Why don't you get off your butt and go out and get your own? Just saying. Just saying. We are so happy that Don Wells is in jail today. Like, I am just so happy to know that he had somebody clanking on him. Gotta get up. And think about it. He's going to be in there. Can't do nothing. Can't do nothing. Sitting there. Sitting here resting my bones. Right? Old kook. Finally behind bars. He deserves to be. What makes me so upset is that he's not behind bars for the child abuse and child neglect perpetrated upon his children. That really just makes my blood boil. But hey, it's a small win. It's a small win for us. No cigarettes. I know. That is awesome. Which reminds me, I need to go get my jewel. Ow, my butt. See, I got this new chair, so my butt. I got degenerate disc disease, DDD, and scoliosis. And so every now and again, when I sit down too long, it really, really hurts. So no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes, nothing. Probably have caffeine, which I wish they wouldn't. I mean, I wish they would if I was in there, but I'm not in there, right? Everybody kept saying I broke the law out there in Hawkins County. Well, you know what? I'm not the one sitting behind jail. Don Wells is. That should tell you who the criminal is and who the criminal is not, right? Right? It's insane. It's insanity. So it's just, it's nutso. It's nutso. See what's this. Let's see what this is. What this says. Bobby Anderson. Listen to Scott Johnson, XLE of 28 years. He's a statement analysis. He broke down Candus's interview, considering culture, location, etc., contamination, even with that, what to expect from a mother. That's another thing. Their actions, right? Their actions speak volumes. They've never begged the media for example, when we went out there and we protested in front of Don Well's job, and he was booted off his job, right? He went on the news. Me, poor me. I can't believe it. I got fired. He was in front of media for the first time in a long time. He had an opportunity to say, my daughter, she's 5 years old. She's been missing since June 15th. Screw me. Screw the fact that I lost my job. I have your attention now. I need to talk about my daughter. We need to find Summer Wells. We needed this. Nothing of that nature. Nothing. Me. The narcissistic Don Wells in the media talking about himself. Even on her birthday. Even on her flipping birthday. He's out there saying, all this time, and flips it right around, and all the missing children out there in this world. Don, right now, we're not worried about the other missing children. We're trying to find your missing child. Remember that phone call in that hotel room when he's talking about the atrocities in North Korea? What did I say? Don, I'm not here for the atrocities in North Korea. I'm here to try to reunite you with your daughter. Well, that's not going to happen. Like, he's telling me his daughter is dead. I'm on the phone with him, and he's telling me his daughter is dead. He has knowledge his daughter is dead. And that is evidence. Firsthand knowledge, his words, his own words. And I got people calling me a liar. It's sick. These sympathizers, man, they can't see the trees for the forest. They can't see the forest for the trees. Right? These are despicable people. When are you guys going to wake up? Go get a smart pill. Maybe you can pop one of those smart pills today. Pull your head out of your butt. Pull your head out of your butt. Well, Don Wells is about to find out, isn't he? Isn't he? And the worst part about it, he's going to go through all these withdrawals from the alcohol and the drugs. And as soon as he's out, he's going to go right back to it. And it's usually 10 times worse. It's usually 10 times worse. Great day. We're waking up to an unbelievable morning. An unbelievable morning. Somebody's posted on mine. Can't wait until you're next. Okay. I'm still waiting. You guys have been saying this to me since Gabby Petito. Still haven't had law enforcement knocking on my door. Still haven't had law enforcement knocking on my door. Why? I don't break the law. People may want to try to allude that I break the law, but I don't break the law. Somebody said people could say the same thing about you. How can they say that? I don't have a missing 5-year-old child. I don't live in squalor. I don't have child endangerment, child neglect, and child abuse charges that could be potentially levied against me. What are you talking about? Those are the idiotic statements coming from these sympathizers. They're idiots. Idiots. Yeah. So they're saying Steve Johnson is this amazing statement profile. What a statement profiler is they look at the statement, they digest the statement, they break down the statement for you to determine whether it's truthful or not. They can profile somebody, whether they're being truthful or deceptive based upon the statement that they're giving or statements in this fact, right? The one good thing that we have on our side is that Don and Candus have been on social media so much. We can literally take all their statements, put them next to each other and see all the inconsistencies in their statements. And that I think that they can be able to use later, especially when they go to the criminal charges aspect of it. They're going to be able to use some of this stuff because of their actions on here. You know, Don's infamous, I have 7 alibis, you have none, you're going down, Candus. That's going to be used against him and her at a future date. I guarantee it. I can foresee it. I can foresee it. So let's go back. I see a lot of stuff going on in here in the chats, and you guys know I don't read this stuff. I probably shouldn't. People are idiots in here. Not you guys. You guys know who I'm talking about. The trolls that try to gaslight, but don't know what the heck they're talking about. They don't know what the heck they're talking about, but hey, their mouth is running. They never went out here. Prove me wrong. You can't. All you can do is point a finger and say, you're lying. How am I lying? Oh, okay. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So coming down, we're at the top of the 2 hours. I got a lot of work left. We're going to go over a couple more things. And, you know, I do listen to you guys. I do. You know, the team in here is amazing. And I wanted to bring awareness to a few cases. You know, a few cases were brought to our attention, although I can't, you know, go and investigate all these cases, right? Many of you guys know Jonathan is out of town. We've been, Olivia and I were assigned to a different case here locally. So we had to kind of split up and double duty. As many of you know, that's kind of what we have to do at times. This is the strategy we chose to use for this particular situation. Because as many of you know, we can't tell you guys where we're going and what we're doing until we're there and doing it, right? And sometimes it's a lot easier to get the job done when we're not all, I mean, literally we can't go anywhere. When we were in Orlando, oh, thank you, Priscilla. When we were in Orlando, you know, we go to the Beef O'Brady's. Well, guess what? Somebody reaches out to Olivia and says, was the team at Beef O'Brady's? It's like, yeah, the team was there. Like we literally, people know us. You know, even with Paola Miranda, I mean, prior to that at the Gabby Petito, I mean, one of my, not my personal videos, but a video that was stolen from Olivia nonetheless, ended up going viral. It went viral on her page, but went even more viral on this other page. And it was seen by like 25 or 30 million people. And of course, it was of me. And so we go, and now she's doing this Paola Miranda, and it's gone viral again. And it's me, her, and Jonathan. Like 10 million plus million of people are on TikTok are seeing what we're doing. And, you know, we get out here and we do a lot of hard work. Like I have huge blisters on the bottoms of my feet from the work that we were doing. And people want to say, oh, well, you know, I ran 6 miles. Yeah, I'm sure you did in comfortable shoes. I'm sure you ran 6 miles on a flat surface. Go out here into a jungle, climb over, you know, trees and bushes and climb under and have to crawl on the ground and have to get up and have to go through water and have to wade through muck. Do that. Tell me about your run 6 miles on a flat surface with good, comfortable shoes. We were in wading gear and 100-pound, like you're with nothing. What do you have? A phone strapped to your arm? We had 100-pound of gear on us. 100-pound of gear on us. Get out of here with that nonsense. Running an extra 100 pounds. I double dog dare you. Do 20 miles with an extra 100 pounds on you. Double dog dare you. Let me see how your feet feel, lady. Let me see how your feet feel. It's hard not to get bent out of shape, right? Right? So a lot of people brought up, you know, we're here. I want to find out, you know, brainstorm, and then we're going to go over to a couple other cases. The cases that were brought up here, not yesterday because I wasn't live yesterday. Well, I did go live to bring you the great news, the breaking news that Don Wells went to jail. But it was the day before yesterday, the coffee club. Somebody brought up Cassie Cole, Harley Dilley, and Aaliyah Cummings. And so I wanted to make sure, and there was also some brought up on TikTok. You know, I did a live on TikTok. Some of the people here came from TikTok. was Shane McLaughlin. And we need to go over that in depth a little bit more too. It was a little eye-opening for, for us, his situation. And we've got to discuss it. We have to discuss that. It's a little scary. So we're going to discuss Shane a little bit separately from these other folks. Let me see where we're at. There we are. So I'm just going to get right into this. We're going to touch base on a little bit of it. We're just going to bring some attention and some awareness to these other cases. Some of these, we can't touch every single case. So I know many of us, have been trying to brainstorm and decide how we can bring more attention to these, missing people and murdered people on here. And so sometimes it's just touching on the case, and sometimes it's touching on the case and throwing some little bit of information out, making sure that their faces are seen. And if that's all we can do, by God, that's what we're going to do. Right. So with that being said, I mean, our first case is Cassie Cole. Okay. This was brought up the other day. Family is still hoping for justice in suspicious death of Cassie Cole, whose body was found in 2003 near Sandusky River in Ohio. So it sounds like there were some suspicious circumstances related to her death. Beautiful girl. Look at that. Beautiful girl. So anybody with any information that may have been in the area of Seneca, if I'm saying it properly, Seneca County, you're asked to call the sheriff's office. Obviously, this is going on, 20 years. We're coming up to 20 years. This case is almost 20 years cold. If there's any way we can help this family, wow, I'm going to put a star next to that. I'd like to see what's happened in that case. 20 years. Wow. So this is definitely cold. Beautiful young girl. So we are definitely looking at these cases. We are looking for any information, even just bringing awareness. She was a beautiful girl, and looks like she was, had her life snuffed away from her entirely too young. And we'd like to bring answers to her family. If anybody knows any information or her whereabouts, you are asked again to reach out to the law enforcement. And that's the one I was just had up, law enforcement related to her. What a beautiful girl. Lost her life. So anything we can do to bring awareness and to bring this up, I put a star next to her name, whoever brought this up yesterday. I will look into it. But this is where we are right now. So I get out of here. Next case that was brought up was Harley Dilley. Look at that cute little face, right? Let me get over there. Where's my mouse? So Port Clinton Chief Police Rick Hickman grew up 2 blocks north of Harley Dilley. The 14-year-old who went missing just before Christmas last year. Young Robert attended church next door to where Harley would live with his family across the street from an empty Sumner residence where the teenager was found dead January 13th, the result of trying to slide down the chimney to get inside. So are they saying he was found dead from going down a chimney? In the 23 days preceding the grim discovery, Chief Hickman and his department faced social media-fueled protests and baseless accusation of ineptness, corruption, and even complicity in Harley's supposed murder. So it sounds like maybe the boy was being a boy. So this is something that we could look into a little bit. But, I'm curious to find out a little bit more. Maybe people didn't realize that, boys are boys. I mean, I climbed on houses when I was a young girl out in Mayaca City. So, it was just one of those things that we did. But this, we can look into this, but it sounds like this was just something that he did that may have cost him his life. Who knows? Right? I mean, truth is stranger than fiction. Truth truly is stranger than fiction. So we would definitely want to get some more information on that particular case. Again, this is a beautiful young boy. He was missing. missing in 2019, and appears that his case must be closed as an accidental death. So still some suspicious circumstances related to his death, but wanted to highlight that because people did bring it up here on this channel and wanted to make sure that we did at least bring some awareness. Chasing justice, what does this say? That's not how it happened. I feel he's placed there. Lots of cover up and corruption. You have to see the house. Oh, and I agree. I agree, Chasing Justice. As you know, if anybody knows anything about me, I find out what I read and what I see when I get there are polar opposites. And I absolutely 100% believe you, Chasing Justice, that until we get into, we go and see and look at something, never allow something to be set in stone. Absolutely, hands down. I agree 100% with you. That's the one thing I definitely agree across the board, because you know what, with the Gabby Petito, if I wasn't there in real life, I would have believed half the crap that was coming across, mainstream media. By being there, I knew that half the crap coming across mainstream media was false and inaccurate. You know, with where Gabby Petito's, where she was murdered, where she was left to out there in Spread Creek. Until I went out there and saw it for myself, the stuff that I heard on TV was completely different. Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner, the same way. Summer Wells, the same way. So without a doubt, unless we go and really put forth some effort, it's hard to believe mainstream media or any news organization, and I hate to say it, but law enforcement makes mistakes. And we see it time and time again. Every single case I have touched so far, there has been multiple mistakes that law enforcement has made. Is it bad? I mean, am I coming down on law enforcement? No, it just shows that they are human. They are human. They make mistakes, period. They are not subhuman. They are not perfect. They are not, they don't always do everything perfect. They'll tell you themselves. They'll tell you themselves. I mean, it does take a partnership with the community for these cases, period. The problem that you have sometimes is that you deal with pompous law enforcement. There's some top brass that think their crap doesn't stink. But that's the worst thing you deal with. So what you do is you go out there and you work, you investigate, you bring them evidence, and you plop it on their desk. That's how it gets done. So I'm interested in this. If we got some weird stuff going on. I mean, he doesn't really look like the I'm going to climb on the roof and go down a chimney type of kid. He really doesn't. But who knows, right? Who knows? Truth is stranger than fiction. So that's another case that we're highlighting is Harley Dilly. I'd like to hear some more information. Chasing Justice, maybe would you like to come on here tomorrow and maybe talk about the case and tell people about it? Would that be something that you'd be willing to do? Robin, you need to send me some of that peppermint mocha over here. I got my coffee, 2 sweeteners. But Chasing Justice, if this is a case that you're passionate about, I'd like to hear some of the facts of this. I'd love to open this up, maybe have a 30-minute conversation with you tomorrow. Maybe probably about 20 or so minutes into the show tomorrow, we can bring you on for about 30 minutes, give you the floor, let you talk about Harley Dilly and how we can help. So, all right. So I'll wait to hear from Chasing Justice if they are willing to come on. And even if you don't want to show your face and stuff like that, they do have this option of, doing this. Let me see if I can do there goes that option. So you guys can see it moving, but you can't see my face. Hello. But we want to learn a little bit more about that case. The other case that was just brought up here was Haley Cummings. Where's the photos? Am I missing it? There she is. Haley Cummings. So Wow, she'd be having her 18th birthday coming up. Let's see what we got here. Haley Cummings is a good one. Still no answers. Still no answers. I wish these ads would go away. Got to make your money. Okay, so Putnam County, Florida. It's been 12 years since little Haley Anne Marie Cummings was reported missing in Putnam County. Wednesday marks the anniversary of the day, February 10th, 2009. The 5-year-old disappeared out of her home in the middle of the night. The last person to see Haley was 17-year-old Misty Croslin, her father's girlfriend at the time. Oh my God. So 5-year-old with a 17-year-old girlfriend. That doesn't even sound very savory at all. Haley's father, Ronald Cummings, came home from an overnight shift and found that Haley had disappeared. At the time, Croslin told police she woke up to find Haley's bed empty and the back door open. She believed she was taken. Years later, people found that her story has changed. So the 17-year-old girl, look at that. She doesn't even look. Oof. She looks evil. She looks evil. Both Croslin and Ronald Cummings are currently in state prison on drug charges. Currently, Cummings is set to be released from Lake Correctional Institute in Claremont on October 17, 2022. So the father is getting released before the girl. Like this woman, they must have really thought she did something. We need to find, I mean, he's being released, and this is for Haley, being released on 10/17. So we don't have a whole lot of stuff to do. You know, we need to find out where this girl went. And with this being 12 years ago, you know, cell phone services and stuff aren't the same as what they were back then, right? So, yeah, this is, wow. So the woman is not being released until 2032. Like, they must have really thought she was a rotten person. Like, she got more time than the man. That's unheard of, right? That's unheard of. There's definitely more going on here. Real pieces of garbage right there. Right there. Real pieces of garbage. Thank you, Bernice. Dallas, I'm not sure, you know, I'm really not sure. So we'll have to see. I don't think they did some age progression photos of her. If anything, I know, 17-year-old girl watching a young child, especially one that's back talking her, you know, if they're on drugs and stuff. You always hear about it, right? It's usually the people that are on drugs. Why do all these parents have these children when they're on drugs? Their kids disappear, and everybody thinks that they're in sex trafficking because they're on drugs. No, most likely the child's dead because they flipped out and snapped. Look how beautiful she would be right now. Look how beautiful she'd be right now. Sad. Sad. In 2020, Action News Jacksonville talked to Haley's great-grandmother, Annette Sykes, who was dying of stage 4 cancer. And with her final wish was to find out what happened to Haley. Oh my God. That might be an avenue of some information right there, Sky, to be honest with you. Yeah. Yeah. This bothers me. 12 years. Cold case. I got to say, guys, you guys brought up some pretty darn good cases to look into. You know, Cassie Cole, Harley Dilley, and Haley Cummings. So, you know, we want to, maybe we'll take some deep dives in it. And if anybody has information, you know, on these 3 cases, you know, I'd like to I'd like to know. We'll bring you on and let you just kind of show your expertise on the case. Highlight you and highlight your channel and highlight this case. It's very important that we, especially these cold cases. And these ones, like even with Harley, some people are saying that's not really how it happened. There's some corruption. There's this, that, and the other. We need to showcase that, right? We need to showcase that. We have to bring awareness. The only way we're going to bring awareness to it is bring it to the public eye. So this will be great. I'd like to, explore this a little more. But this Haley Cummings, this is right here in the state of Florida. This is right in my own backyard. This would be, something that we could probably dive into much quicker than say something that's over in California, right? Or in Ohio for that matter. That takes money and we got to do fundraising and stuff like that to get the money. So something like Jacksonville is nominal. And we probably have to stay in a Airbnb, but for the most part, it's fairly nominal. Okay. And lastly, where is my phone? Oh, it's right in front of me. Let me see, group chat. Okay, let's see if I can get over here. All right, let me pull this down. I got to go find. So, and this is going to be my final topic, and we're going to have a little discussion. Oh, Olivia. Hi, honey. We got some, this Haley Cummings. Did you hear about that, Olivia? You have some time? You want to come on? Want to come on and say hi to everybody? We're actually having a pretty good morning and a pretty good show. Come over. Come over and see me. I'll make you food. All right, hold on. Let me bring Olivia on. Why not? All right. When she gets in the back room, I'll pull her up here. Hold on, I'm logging on. Okay, take your time, honey. Take your time. Okay, perfect. All right. So we'll wait until Olivia gets up here. And then actually while she's on here, we're going to go into, there she is. Oh, nice, bright and beautiful.
Can you see me? Oh.
I can. Hey, honey.
Hi.
How are you? What do you think about Don Wells going to jail?
I know I heard about that. So, I mean, it's about time.
It is.
It was about time that happened. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
How long have you been watching? How long have you been watching for?
Literally just 5 minutes because I brought Dante to school and I just came back.
Oh, gotcha.
So I didn't have time to see the rest.
So we went over this whole thing. I don't know if you can see this, but it's this guidance, about abuse, in Tennessee. This is DCS guidance, right?
Yeah.
And so we were going over. This is like the third time I brought it up in my lives about this. What can the Wells be charged with right now? And we go through it. And you know what? We keep thinking of Summer, but there was 3 other children besides Summer in that home that these parents can be charged with these crimes for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyways, it's a little disheartening. I'm trying to brainstorm and figure out what we can do. The only other option we can do is going down the trail of, getting, with our politicians here. We become the pimple on their butt. It's funny how quickly things start moving through the processes, such as this protest bill, right?
Yeah.
We became a pimple on the butt of some politician, and now we have this unconstitutional protest bill. So the other thing is now starting to look at Tennessee and go after like Governor Bill Lee and start, going up his alley, start emailing him, start posting things on Twitter to him, start bringing awareness that these despicable parents should be behind bars of what's going on in his state.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that we may need to go the political route, start pressuring the politicians in this state to either.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
nothing
really
gets done until you start making politicians' life a living hell, and then you start seeing them get off their tail and do something.
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
So the reason why I brought you on, it was great that you came on just in the nick of time. And that comes down to things happen for a reason, all this other stuff. Well, you were on here, and I was just getting ready to go into Shane McLaughlin.
Oh yeah. So that's really interesting. Because, backstory, guys. Yesterday, Betty and I were driving in the car. Did you tell them about the case we covered yesterday about?
Yes, with the retired cop. Yeah, we went over it at the beginning of at the very, very beginning of the show.
Yeah. So when we were in the car, I found Shane McLaughlin's TikTok account, and he has like 6 videos where he basically says he doesn't want anyone to look for him, and that he's doing fine. He doesn't want to be found. And when he turns 18, he wants to, what was it he wanted to do when he turns 18? He wants to file.
No, when he turns 18, that's the only time he's going to come out of hiding. That he's hiding right now because he does not want to go back into his mother's custody. And so, anyways, I was on TikTok and we were covering, one lady just like blasted me. She's like, I'm like, look, there's allegations here. It's not like we're talking about a 5-year-old kid. This kid is 17 years old. I'm pretty sure, and they're like, oh, well, he's being coerced to say that. He's being coerced to say that. Okay, well, I will find out that if he's being coerced to say that. But one thing I'm not going to do is go drag this boy home when there's these allegations.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't really know the full story. You have to, like,
have no idea
sides of it. You can't just assume that he is being coerced into it.
Just because other creators are following this, we have a system of due diligence that we do before we make decisions. We have a fact-finding process when we handle a case.
Exactly. But yeah, that the Shane McLaughlin, it's very strange because when we saw the TikTok videos and we saw him speaking, it's just weird because what if he really truly believes he truly is okay? But it's just like,
and not only that, but what if he brought up a very, and I'm familiar with this Munchausen syndrome. Mm-hmm. Like, he is basically saying his mom has this Munchausen syndrome. And I'm telling you, there's been many kids that have been put through some really horrific things because their parents had Munchausen syndrome. And how would I don't know if I could, if this is true. Now, granted, we're just getting into it. We're just now starting to do some research on it. But now that we have these allegations, it's kind of, we were thinking, oh, this is going to be a good case. We can bring somebody home alive, which is, if many people know, is one of my goals for this year, is to not only bring somebody home, but bring somebody home alive. This would be a great, because we know he's alive. So we just need to go find him and bring him home. But now that we see these things, we have to question, because we would never want to take somebody out of a healthy environment and put them back in a horrible environment. Yeah. And with these allegations, guess what? We now have to look into them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We have to look into both sides of it. So we'll do our due diligence and see.
But when we say something, we want people to know that what we're saying is truthful, that there was a lot of information, a lot of investigation that went into it, a lot of work that went into it. So when it comes out of our mouths, that the information is factual and truthful. And if we have opinions, we tell people our opinions about the matter, right? But we still do our due diligence and fact finding prior to making a determination.
Yeah, we always do that right before. Yeah. Yep.
So at any rate, I just wanted to show people what kind of stuff he's saying, right? I just want people to hear it for themselves. So let me
I start and get into the video, I want to say a quote from Martin Luther King. A person is not judged by the color of their skin, but judged by their character. Let me tell you guys a little bit about my mom's character. I believe, my personal beliefs are that she suffers from Munchausen syndrome. She did this news article. Thought I'd die. Mom with coronavirus claims she was turned away from hospital 6 times after virus left her in unbearable pain. Now, let me tell you a little backstory about this. I lived with her at this time. This is the time I was living with her, staying at her house in her apartment. And she did not have COVID. She didn't have COVID. None of us in our house ever got COVID. Okay? Never happened. Let me tell you guys a little bit more backstory about this whole thing. She said that the hospitals turned her away and didn't test her for COVID. So first of all, how would she even know she had COVID if no hospitals would test her? And second of all, everyone got tested. How could you not get tested? So she went to news for attention. She did this for attention, to get her attention cravings, whatever she needed for herself. This is just an example. Hey everybody, Shane will go off one. I'm making another video.
Okay, so that's
just to prove the fact.
So just to hear, I mean, these are some pretty serious allegations that he's levying to his mom. You know, he's bringing specific examples of this. I mean, it's one thing to just allege it, but now he's actually bringing specific examples on how she's manipulated or lied. So there's a little more that's going into this, and I'm not sure if somebody manipulating him would have this information for him to do this. This is why, I'm kind of erring on the side of caution with this particular case. And there's more than just this. There's I mean, he's got several videos on here. I mean, it's not just one. It's 6 different videos of him trying to explain and plead. He's a young kid. This is the best way he can come about. Mm-hmm. Everybody says that it's sketch with him being in that mask and with the hoodie over his head and, and the background. Maybe he just really doesn't want anybody knowing where he's at. And not only that, but he also said as soon as he turns 18, he will come out. He will come out. He just does not want to go back to her home, mm-hmm. which again is a little scary for me.
Yeah.
So he's very specific. Why her home? Why doesn't he want to go back around her? And then we have somebody like Justin on TikTok, right? Our friend that talks about his relationship with his own mother, and how he hasn't talked to her for a really long time. And, he's judged based upon that, but she tried to destroy his life. And, a very narcissistic person. And he finally had to cut ties with her. He forgives her, but he doesn't forget. And, he talks about that. This could be, so we've experienced it with ourselves. Like, I don't talk to my father. I love my dad. Many people know. I really, truly believe that, he did his best. He did everything, he just had a lot of childhood trauma. He never, worked out on his own, which caused a lot of childhood trauma in my life. And so I still try to work. I still love my father. He did call me on my birthday. I hadn't seen him in 10 years until my uncle passed away, which was his brother. And then, we're kind of here and there stepping our toe into at least speaking on the phone. But, that was a very toxic relationship for a very long time for me. And so, people judge when you don't want to have anything to do with your parents. And I think it's sad, but I myself experienced something similar to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard.
It is. It is very hard. I hope he's okay. And I hope he's safe.
Yeah.
I really hope he's not being forced to say those.
Right. Well, we do have to look at that angle as well. But at the end of the day, there is substantial allegations here that need to be looked into. We just can't go out and find him and bring him home, especially with the types of allegations he's bringing up. Yeah. So we're actually trying to reach out to him. We don't want him to expose where he's at or whatever, but I really like to talk to him. And I would love to even offer, if these allegations are true, to help him. And at 17 years old, if he needs help getting emancipated, we will be happy to help emancipate him. So he does not have to live in the shadows anymore. And so, if that's truly what he wants, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. But he is alive. We're very thankful. Most of the people that we deal with are missing or dead. So this is, this would be a breath of fresh air to help a living victim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let's see. Someone said, Olivia, have you tried to talk to Riley? No, I have not. And
I believe she tried to reach out to me, and I got to go back because I'm just now getting back on TikTok, and posting some more on TikTok. It's been a little minute. I was sitting here trying to, get YouTube off the ground, trying to get the merch off the ground, and I'm still playing with some other ideas too. But I kind of left TikTok behind, and TikTok.
Yeah, we're kind of getting back on TikTok now.
Yeah, so we've been double dutying. We've been going here and going on TikTok as well.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Oh, and I did show them, and I'll do it again because I did show them your video this morning.
Oh, my YouTuber, my TikTok.
Yeah.
The day I met Bullhorn Betty and Jonathan Lee Ridges, they were protesting in front of the laundry's home. I began to document. And little did I know, the three of us would spend the next few months traveling together. Nothing scares us. Even if it means crossing a freezing cold river and getting wet. We put our lives in danger because we want to find answers. It gives us purpose. Even if it means going undercover to get those answers, or visiting the scene of a crime and paying our respects. Searching for the truth isn't easy. It gets you out of your comfort zone and makes you see things in a different perspective. And it's this perspective that we want the world to see. At the end of the day, we fight for justice. We fight for those who don't have a voice. We fight for those who were silenced. Our next case, we search for Paola Miranda. She was last seen swimming in this river. Here's our Paola's family. Found 2 footprints they believe belonged to her. She left her phone and keys in her car. Her sister tells us that's extremely unusual for her to do that. Stay tuned as we venture deep into Wekiwa Springs State Park to help find her.
Good job.
Yeah, I like that video. I want to start doing more like documentary work and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, like episodes and stuff. A lot of people on TikTok are wanting us to do like a show or something, and I just want to do like, that style a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've covered quite a few cases now, and together. And we've gone a lot of places, right? We've traveled all over the country.
Yeah.
We literally have traveled all over the country together, not just to Tennessee. For those folks that are just tuning in, like we've literally traveled all over the country covering cases. And it's been really nice, and we work together well. I mean, we all work together well because we're passionate and we like getting up and going out. We like the interview. We like going out and searching. We like helping. We like bringing a story and the truth to the public. We try to create a different kind of viewing experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the perspective that we bring is different than what like news media, like typically like classic news media does.
Yeah, and we don't wait for law enforcement to give us permission to say stuff. I mean, we don't. Even with the gun that was near Brian Laundrie, mainstream media wouldn't discuss it because law enforcement did not state it. But because we were there and we knew that it was within feet of Mr. Laundrie's body, we indicated that there was a gun out there. Yeah. We even went out there when people are like, oh, there was no gun. We even went out there and disputed the fact that he didn't hang himself. There was no pills laying around there. There was, anyways.
No, it's true. Yeah. Someone said in the comments that we should talk about experiences, or I can't find it now.
So people saw you on Ross Creations.
I know, that's so funny. I didn't know people here watch Ross Creations. But did you know about him, Betty? He's a really big
Not until you brought him up when we were talking about him, when you were talking about whether you should do this or not. That was the only time.
So
and I still haven't. I never even subscribed to him yet. So I haven't even seen the skit that you ended up doing.
I'll send you the link. But he lives like near where we live. He lives right here.
He lives right here in our town.
Yeah, and it was really fun. Like we spent the whole day like with his team and like filmed a skit. It was fun. But yeah, that's so funny that people like.
They're like, was Olivia and Ross Creations? And, and you know what? I wouldn't even have known it, but you brought it up, and you're like, should I do this? Should I not do this? And then I was on the phone with her when he called her and told her what day to be there, and so it was kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So I'm very thankful that you got an opportunity. It was an experience, right? I mean. Not an I don't know if you're indicating that you may or may not do that again.
It was fun. But I didn't do the actual skit part that the girl did.
Because she did the yoga portion, right? The yoga.
Yeah, she did that part. That part was like, that was so funny. But I did like reactions and stuff. And we did a lot of stuff. It was fun. And most of it wasn't shown in the video. We did other stuff too. But yeah, let's keep people.
Well, they saw you because they were asking me bright and early this morning if you were part of that. So I just thought it was really neat. She got to experience a new experience. You know, at the end of the day, life is all about experiences, right? So Olivia got to come out of her shell a little bit.
Yeah, because we do like our crime work, but I think it's good to switch it up a little bit, do some comedy here and there.
Yeah.
You know,
and you had a little fun. You got to meet some new people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right here in our own backyard.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in this Haley Cummings. It's from Jacksonville. I think this is, it's a weird case, but the parents are in jail, and one parent is getting out this October 2022. And I think that,
I have to look into that again.
Yeah, Haley Cummings, Jacksonville.
What was it again?
County.
What happened again?
Huh?
What happened again with Haley Cummings?
So her father, older, was dating a 17-year-old girl that was watching his daughter and his son, and the daughter comes up missing.
How old was the missing daughter?
5.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's been
That's
many
very
years.
suspicious.
Yeah. 2003 when it happened. So we're coming up on almost 20 years. And the parents went to jail for unrelated drug charges, but the girl, the 17-year-old girl, went to jail almost 10 years longer than the father. So that means they know she did something. They don't do that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to look into that. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's right here in Florida. This would be a good case for us. I mean, just to follow. I mean, it's 20 years old, but just to give an update on.
Yeah.
Never know. I mean, 20 years, we might be able to find some witnesses that didn't want to come forward then. Maybe somebody remembered something.
Yeah, we could do that.
That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting.
That would
it happened in 2009. Sorry. Thank you, Amanda. Mm-hmm. Happened in 2009. I just read it. I just couldn't remember. I just went through 3 different cases.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, they brought 3 not yesterday, the day before yesterday while we were in here. I'm trying to find, they're throwing some names out and some other cases and stuff out. One's Cassie Cole in Seneca County, which was interesting. Harley Dilly, which is a boy that they believe the police just screwed up the entire case. They're trying to say that he fell from the chimney and stuff like that. I was thinking like, oh, well, it sounds like this was something that he did to himself. And people were like, no, you got to read the case. So it does sound interesting. And then, of course, we had the Haley Cummings. You brought up another case yesterday of a beautiful young woman.
Lauren Smith. Yeah, she passed away back in December, but she went on a Bumble date with a guy, and they found her in her apartment, but in her system they found like fentanyl and like other drug substances, and she had drank a lot of alcohol, but the family was upset because the police never They did a really bad job of collecting any DNA or anything. They didn't.
Mhm.
And they said, oh, well, one of the officers said, oh, well, he seemed like a really nice guy, like the Bumble dude. Like, and you can't just assume things like that.
Right. But they didn't do any forensic, again, mistake. I mean, you got a woman that's dead. You err on the side of caution in these situations. You err on the side of caution, cops. You can't just make a decision for yourself. It's an education, and these law enforcement, they need better training. Law enforcement needs better training.
Yeah. They can't just assume that she intentionally took the drugs too. He could have drugged her too.
He could have drugged her. This is a first date. Now, why would somebody think about this? This is what gets me when we were reading this case. She passed out. Now, this remind you, this is the first time she met him in person and was on a date, and they were drinking heavily. She passed out on her couch. Who in the hell are you to pick her up off that couch and take her to her bedroom?
And then he said he laid down next to her.
And laid down next to her. This is the first time you know what you do if you were like that? You leave her on the couch. You either go lay on her bed or you leave the home. You don't go move her and lay next to her. She doesn't know you like that, brother.
Yeah, it's very suspicious. But
and then there's a condom. Like, he just sat there and told law enforcement she was so drunk that he had to pick her up off the couch and take her to the bedroom. At what point did the condom come out? She clearly was not able to make a decision to have sex with him.
Yeah.
She was passed out by his own account.
And he didn't, I don't think he mentioned that they had sex. He just, one article that I read, he described it where he picked her up, he put her on the bed, laid down next to her, woke up, she had blood coming out of her nose, but he never mentioned anything about, that part. So.
And how do we know he didn't drug her with the fentanyl so he could take advantage of her?
Mm-hmm. And another thing with drugs is I've been hearing increasingly over the past few months and past several years, fentanyl is a big problem. It's being laced on a lot of drugs, a
lot of drugs. You don't realize these drugs, these cartels are wanting you more addicted to these drugs, so you keep coming back.
Yeah, fentanyl is a big problem. So,
and it's not going away anytime soon.
Yeah, it's really, really sad.
So if you're suffering from drug addiction, I ask that you seek help. Any kind of drug addiction, pills, marijuana, even marijuana. If you're addicted to marijuana, go get help. Mm-hmm. Don't allow something to control you. My last addiction is this nicotine. I'm still addicted to my Juul. We talked about it.
Yeah.
I want to be off. I am so sick of something having some kind of control over me. I've had something that has had a control over me since I was a baby.
Yeah.
Since I was a baby, something has controlled me. And it's like the last thing, finally, I'm down to the last thing. And the last thing is this nicotine. Well, caffeine will never go away.
Caffeine, that's okay. Caffeine's not so bad. But, yeah, it's just.
You would think so, but hold on. So, C12 says, Betty, I thought the OJ case has taught LE law enforcement and crime scene investigators the importance of preserving the crime scene. You're exactly right. I'm telling you, law enforcement agencies across the country are not properly trained.
I agree.
They're not properly trained. And then they turn around and say, we'll just leave it to law enforcement. We leave it to law enforcement and we turn around and something's screwed up.
Yeah.
And then they turn around and lie about it to try to justify the screw up.
We know firsthand from laundry case and dealing with Josh Taylor, head of Northport Police.
Absolutely. And then you've got this whole case with Paola Miranda. They botched that case. If there was foul play, they botched that all to hell because they didn't do any forensic on the car.
Mm-hmm.
That her cell phone, her wallet, and her keys were left in.
Yeah, exactly. And it's sad because, with Brian Laundrie, again, I did a TikTok video about this, but they spent so much money looking for him. And yet we have Paola, who is not very far from Myakkahatchee, maybe 2 hours, still in the same state. And
nothing.
They only did one search for her. And I don't think they searched very far because we could tell at what point they stopped searching when they cut the branches, when they stopped cutting them. So it's just Yeah,
It's crazy.
it is.
But I mean, there's a lot of possibilities that could have happened with her.
Yeah.
I mean, there's three main possibilities. Her got lost, disoriented, and met her demise.
Mhm.
A gator got her, or she met with foul play.
Yeah. So I just pray for her and her family.
Yep. So, at any rate, girlfriend, just wanted to tell you hi and I love you. I saw you up.
I love you too. I'll see you soon though. Maybe this weekend.
Are you coming out Saturday?
Saturday. It depends on my It depends. I have to see. I might have something else going on.
Well, let me know if you want to go for that spooky walk in the park.
Oh yeah, you gotta send me a link to that. I want to see that.
Well, I'll have to send it to you because one of the people in here is
They're
the
going?
one that I'm going to be hanging out with, going to get spooked
Oh
with.
yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
I said that I'm not going to bring up the name.
Mm-hmm.
She knows who she is, and so I was telling Olivia about the walk, the spooky walk, and I said I bet you she wouldn't mind you coming and hanging out too. So
is that Saturday?
Friday or Saturday. I think Friday because it's gonna be too hard Saturday because I'm doing that search.
Yeah.
Search Saturday morning. So I think Friday night would be best. So the person that's supposed to be meeting me, you're listening to this. I'll call you whenever I'm done here. I'll call, not you, but the person I'm going on.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know about this weekend. Cool. Well, bye everyone. I hope you have a great day. It was nice.
You have a great day too.
Okay. Peace out. Bye.
All right. Love you, girl. Bye. So there you go. I'm eating these crackers. I need to quit eating crackers and go get myself some real food. So there you have it, folks. That was Olivia. I will make sure, Anissa, that Olivia knows Mom, that you said hi to Mom. Super Bowl Sunday. Yep, it's coming up this Sunday. So hopefully you guys are all ready for that. I don't really watch football that much because I don't have time to watch anything. When I lay down at night, I turn the TV on just for sound so I can go to sleep. And it's usually Bosch or Murder, She Wrote. I have to be honest with you. So at any rate, we need to be careful. We need to be ultra vigilant, and we need to start. And for those that are watching, guys, we got to start. We've got to start watching these children. If we start seeing weird things go on, don't wait until a child disappears to report it. Anonymously report these households that you feel are endangering the welfare of the children. If you're driving around your neighborhood and you see this dilapidated, deplorable house that has kid toys, report it. Some child is living in that squalor. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to let you guys say your goodbyes. I got a lot of work to do this Tuesday, and I've got to get to it. So I love you. I love each and every one of you. God bless, and we'll chat soon.